Hewen, Coach Yo on the right. This is the first time that these two are coaching against each other, but it's not the first time that they have been on the same court against one another. And when Candace Dupree ran into Coach Yo on the recruiting trail, she reminded her about it.
Well, I think, you know, in talking to both of them, Candace said, hey, you remember in that A10 game, us beating you? And Coach Yo was like, yeah. You know, it was just like a reminder of what a competitor that Candace Dupree is. And Coach Yo had a lot of respect for that.
Yeah, Candace Dupree playing for Temple against Rhode Island, where Coach Yo was coaching at the time. They played each other in the A10 tournament, and Temple got the better of them. And yeah, Coach Yo definitely remembers
that. And I think when we told Candace about it, she was like, I bet you she does remember that, and she's going to press us and remind me.
She said, we'll see what that looks like out on the court later on. I mean, it just shows there are so many connections in the game year after year, and these two women have been a part of the game for a long time. Coach Yo building programs along the way, what she has done here at Ole Miss and in the SEC. They finished third place in the SEC, the highest finish for Ole Miss since 1992. What she has been able to do for Ole Miss, and then, you know, Candace Dupree coming in after playing for Dawn Staley at Temple and playing all those years in the WNBA and being part of an NBA development league and coaching it for San Antonio, the Spurs, with Greg Popovich before coming here, and now being a first-year head coach after all those years, what she's done in women's basketball. And a foul on the floor, as Iwala has been very active inside, picking up a couple of fouls. Now Cole has picked up her fourth foul. And a turnover brings the Tigers the other way. Parker pulls up. Maddie Scott, the extra pass. Try to go inside. Good defense by Parker. And a nice passing to set up Maddie Scott.
You're looking at Madison Scott as a WNBA draft prospect. She's 6'2", got terrific versatility. At times last year she was playing the point guard. So her ball handling, her shooting, I think if she adds the three, that makes her a great prospect for the next league. But, you know, I'm sure there's pressure dealing with people talking about the league and where am I going to go and what do I look like as a prospect, and maybe putting some pressure on myself.
Coach Yo has an entirely new coaching staff this year. You see Coach Q, Quentin Hillsman, on the staff, along with Empress Davenport, who played for Texas, Joy Cheek-Smith, a veteran. She decided to bring in a whole new staff this year.
And she's learning the team and she's learning them. And I think that has been both a blessing and a challenge of bringing in young players, some transfers, and then a whole new staff, and trying not to get your identity lost, because every coach, looking at Coach Q in the glasses, a great coach at Syracuse, brought them a lot of success. His knowledge in terms of offense and not trying to stray too far away from our identity, and Coach Yo kind of told us that, is that I got maybe too caught up in maybe running a lot of offense, but let's get back to defense, and but utilizing their strengths too, and been a little bit of a juggling act, but that's what coaching's all about.
Back to live action. Kennedy Todd Williams hits the three-pointer from the corner after Aaron Martin had converted the free throws on the other end for Tennessee State. Tough shot inside by Whitfield, who had a nice strong finish to the end of the third quarter for Tennessee State. That one gets away. Good block inside for the Tigers. and they come away with. There have been glimpses and flashes for this young team from Tennessee State. It's been dominated, of course, by Ole Miss, but we've seen some flashes of what they could develop.
Yeah, some back-to-back possessions of some stops and some scores. Certainly some clips that you can take away. Hey, this is us against a Power 4. This is what our offense can look like. Here's our defense when we really lock in and we're defending and we're in a stance. And I think that that's what Candace Dupree is looking for, is those moments, stringing them together heading into conference play. It's a tough take.
A tough move for Carissa Richardson, who will go to the free throw line. On Monday night, it's Read and React, hosted by Cole Kublik and Roman Harper. They'll have a complete breakdown of the SEC championship game between Texas and Georgia, 7 Eastern, 6 Central, right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Interested to hear their take. A lot going on in all of college football today, and what a finish in the SEC championship in overtime, as Richardson converts both free throws. This is the last regular season, or last non-conference regular season game, I should say, for Tennessee State. They will start OVC play with their next game against Southern Indiana, the defending regular season champion. And Sanaya Parker draining that three. She's got a couple of them now for 6 points.
Yeah, she's had some difficulty just getting open on the perimeter, but she's created some space and had some nice looks, knocking down some three balls. I mean, those are positives you can take away against much taller defenders.
Kennedy Todd Williams short on that one. And an opportunity, good defense by KK Deans to stop the fast break for Tennessee State. And Dean steps on the baseline. Sadler will check back in for Deans. We've talked about the tough schedule for Ole Miss, the fact that Coach Yo played in Paris against USC, had that game won until late, couldn't get the ball in bounds. Against UConn, got down in the first half, but what a third quarter to come back and draw within 2. And then again, NC State, they were down by over 20 and came back again. She said, we don't want to be in that position where we're always having to rally and get back into games, and learn so much from those 3 games that will help prepare them for the SEC.
Yeah, just imagine what they could look like if they didn't have to come back from 15, 16, 18, 20 points. I mean, I'm watching that NC State game down by 20 in the fourth quarter. I was in the studio. My co-host, Dari's like, you think they can come back? I'm like, have you watched them this year? It's their MO. That's what they've been doing. But then getting to the fourth quarter, if you keep it close the whole game, you're not having to expend all that energy just to get back in there.
Now here's a look at that last time out. Brooks from NC State led the way with 19 points. Maddie Scott, 15. NC State really doing a number in that game, though, from the bench points. But you saw the scoring by half and what Ole Miss did in the second half. Collins picked up her second foul. That's Jada Collins. And it puts Rima Collins for Ole Miss at the free throw line. And completes the three-point play, the native of the Bahamas. She has a lot of potential, still kind of figuring out how she fits into this system, but has gotten some quality minutes here today. 8 points for Collins.
I mean, look how far they're starting their offensive sets. I mean, nearly mid-court.
Three seconds. The hoist, and it doesn't quite get there. Another shot clock violation. Richardson offensive foul for Ole Miss. That brings us to immediate timeout. 4:57 remaining in the game. Ole Miss up big. Well, ESPN Plus content is now on Disney Plus. Bundle subscribers can stream live events, original content, and studio shows from ESPN Plus. Start streaming now. Welcome back to the Pavilion in Oxford, Mississippi. Ole Miss up 74-36 as we get ready in just a few weeks for SEC play. Here's a look at the preseason poll. South Carolina with a big game later today against TCU.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see that game, and thought South Carolina handled business against a really thriving Duke team. Kind of had a statement win, and TCU is going to be another challenge. Sedona Prince and Haley Van Lith, two of probably the older players in women's college basketball, probably the best duo right now. That's going to be a challenge. I mean, they're very experienced. So far, I think experience has paid dividends. And just to go back to this poll, you might think, Ole Miss, wow, number 5, they're a top 25 team. The addition of Oklahoma and Texas into the SEC, you're thinking about Texas and what Vic Schaefer has done year after year at Texas, getting them to Elite Eights, and Oklahoma, a team I think that just continues to rise. There's some top quality depth in the conference. I think we have 3 teams in the top 5 right now. LSU, I'm sure Mulkey's still stressed about the game against Stanford and how they pulled that one out, but
no doubt.
Going to be so competitive this year in conference play. But I think some lingering last non-conference games. Texas A&M will find out what it's made of against Kansas State. Very good team, very well coached. Aisha Coulibaly doing her thing for the Aggies. I think they'll find their stride a little bit later. Joni Taylor was in Paris with the Olympics, all summer long. So some entertaining games coming up your way.
Fouls on Maddie Scott that will send Somar Kamara to the free throw line. Kamara has had a bit of a tough day for her as she misses that free throw. Just 3 of 13 from the field for the freshman, 8 points. She's averaging just under 15 points per game for the Tigers. Couple of games ago had a 29-point effort against UNC Asheville, so she gets a lot of attention from defenses, and Ole Miss's defense being one of the best, they have made sure to shut down the freshman. Scott, nice ball fake. No, look at the rebound underneath by Collins. Rima Collins actually with a career high with her 8 points. You saw her sky for that rebound. She's got 3 rebounds to go along with her 8 points. Before this game, her career high was 5 points against Boston College, so really taking advantage of her extra time in this game.
And that was, a goal in this game, was to build some confidence with some reserves, and that's a job well done from Collins. Because you got to make the most of when you get out there.
That's right.
What are you going to do with your time?
And Thompson will go to the free throw line. Nice aggressive drive on the baseline, but she is fouled by Erin Martin. And that's her 3rd. It'll be interesting to see what the voters do with Ole Miss. They're lost this week on the road to NC State. I know NC State wasn't ranked. I'm a voter. I had NC State ranked.
They should be ranked.
They should have been ranked. I'm not really sure why they had fallen all out of the polls, because all their losses were to top 10 teams. So I don't think that the loss at NC State impacts Ole Miss too negatively. I mean, that's a tough place to play, and that's a very good team.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see them dropping out of the top 25, maybe a few spots if that's how I am not a voter, but I'm glad to know that you thought NC State deserved to be ranked, because I was watching that like, how are they?
Right. I had them ranked 19th.
Okay.
So the fact that they're not ranked at all, there were a lot of other people that didn't, but I thought they still should be ranked. Kamara didn't really have anywhere to go with it. That's what happens sometimes when you pick up the dribble against the Ole Miss defense. Nice pass underneath. Good, strong basket as Rima Collins now in double figures for the first time in her career at Ole Miss.
And Madison Scott showing off why Coach Yo trusted her to play the point guard last year, and great dime to Collins with a tough finish. And how about a little smiles, playing with some joy today. I know it feels good to be back home, playing their style, playing up-tempo, shooting a good percentage from the floor.
Collins represented the Bahamas on the 2019 Central Basket U17 Women's Championship. She's the second Bahamian to play for Coach Yo here. And she is having a day with 11 points and 3 rebounds. Ziona Whitfield. And Scott tracks it down.
Look at the speed and transition.
Kicks it out. Good look for a three-pointer. And there's Collins once again after Noel missed the three. Collins was there for yet another rebound.
Well, to quote Coach Yo, she said they are in the learning lab trying to figure out what she can get out of each individual player, and I think challenging them after that NC State loss, a couple of the losses, trying to figure out what Collins could do. She got a big cheer out of Coach Yo after that and one, and maybe some toughness that she's seeing from her in this game that she's been looking for.
Now, she's only a sophomore. Last year only played in 8 games, and so she is getting her opportunity, and you see Coach Yo cheering her on.
I'm not saying Coach Yo's not animated on the sideline, but that particular play got a little bit of emotion out of her head coach. So if you're Collins, you build off of that and get some more playing time.
Yeah, and I think that to your point, it's exactly what Coach Yo wanted to do in this game, is to develop more depth and really give opportunities to some players and see what they do with them. And that's so important as you're getting ready for conference play.
Well, especially if they're adding the press. And you need bodies to do that and to do it successfully and effectively. And so if you can get 10 to 12 players playing confidently and that can give you quality minutes and you're pressing like they have today, I mean, you could see how many turnovers they had and how it's been a success. And she's just starting to implement it, so it's only going to get better the more reps they get, especially in games. It may look a certain way in practice, but you got to demonstrate it out on the floor in real-time games.
So Richardson committed the foul. Crystal Haddock, another freshman for Tennessee State, getting some playing time here. That's actually her first free throw attempt of the season, and she missed both. And then a foul called on Ole Miss, again on Richardson. And since they're in the bonus, Tennessee State will go to the free throw line. Under 3 minutes remaining, as Ole Miss has been comfortably in the lead throughout this game. Not only with great defense and forcing turnovers like they typically do, but in this game as Iwala also having a terrific game for the Rebels. It hasn't just been the defense, it's been good shooting as well for Ole Miss today, as they're 7 of 15 from beyond the arc, 47% from 3 and 47% overall for Ole Miss. Iwala completes the three-point play. Genesis Harris, another freshman for Tennessee State. I feel like I've been saying that a lot today. Another freshman, another freshman. So this is, again, a very young team for Candace Dupree. Parker, one of those veterans, the senior. They kick out to Noel. Fatu Jallo is in the game, number 11 for the first time for Ole Miss, down in the left corner. And a long rebound. And a turnover. Well, we have gotten some news on the Ole Miss bowl game that the football team will be appearing in, the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl, where they will be matched up against Duke.
My hometown. Here we go.
There we go.
Okay. Might have to check that out, actually. I thought Ole Miss had a great year. It's so funny when Coach Yo walked over and talked to us. I said, "Are y'all in?" She goes, "We're not in. We're not in." What a great year for Lane Kiffin, and excited to see what this team does in women's college basketball, what the men's team does.
It's that time of year when everything is overlapping.
Yeah.
I was on the flight with the Ole Miss volleyball team that was ousted from the NCAA tournament, was on their flight back to Memphis yesterday. And just like all the things overlapping right now. As a timeout is called on the court with under a minute remaining. And so we're going to take a break. A dominating performance for the Rebels today against Tennessee State. Under a minute to play in the game. 11 different players have scored for Ole Miss. 4 players in double figures. 3 of those starters, Maddie Scott, Chinu, and Kennedy Todd Williams. And then off the bench, a really nice performance from Rima Collins for Coach Yo's team here, as this is the first of 4 games at home before they go on the road against Auburn to start SEC play. Thompson for Ole Miss has had some good minutes as well. And they have had some good work in the paint. Iwala scoring there, and 40 points in the paint for Ole Miss to complement how well they've shot from three-point range. And so, Steffi, as you watch Coach Yo on the sideline, do you think that she feels like she got what she wanted accomplished in this game as they bounce back from NC State, and that they're going to look to prepare for conference play?
Yeah, especially it showed some maturity, because you don't know how your team is going to bounce back one after a loss. And then, look, they're not playing NC State. You got to get up no matter who your opponent is. And they had energy, they had defensive pressure, they had balance offensively to start this game. That was my biggest question. What were they going to look like to start? And that's been battle number 1, excuse me. And I thought a check that she can mark off the box. Just a great, well-rounded win for Coach O and the Rebs moving forward.
So it drops Tennessee State to 4-6 on the year. They'll go on to play their first game in the OVC. And Coach Yo and the Rebels, 6-0 when scoring 70 or more points. They go to 6-3 on the year. They've got 3 more home games here at the Pavilion in Oxford, Mississippi before they start SEC play. 4 players in double figures for Ole Miss to get the 85-38 victory here at home. On behalf of Steffi Sorensen, I'm Brenda Van Lingen. A big day in sports. There's a lot going on. We'll get you back to the studio to catch you all up.